Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to Overwatch Central. This video is titled Top 5 Tips for Platinum 2019 because I've recently done the Platinum to Diamond climb again, and as I've done it fairly recently now, I wanted to talk about more things that are relevant to playing Overwatch right now rather than things that might help out a beginner. To be completely clear, I've been like one game away from Grandmaster, I think 3 times on my main account, and on this alt account I play mostly new characters that I haven't played before. After I've not done so well on Hammond, I started at about 2750 the other week, this time focusing on Ana and maybe sneaking in some Baptiste. After about a week of playing, I climbed to 3050 SR with playing 2 characters I hadn't really played, so I wanted to go over some things that made my experience actually quite a lot of fun overall, some kind of tips for ranked, but these won't be just general game knowledge or more generic tips like take the high ground, pressure Reinhardt shields or something like that. That's more something that maybe we would have covered in a video 2 years ago when the game was a bit newer. These are adjusted to Overwatch nowadays and things I've noticed more recently and how to deal with them. So some of these will come in the form of a problem, and then I'll explain how I've at least solved it when I've been playing. The first thing I've noticed is an obsession over goats, or sometimes other compositions too. This isn't necessarily a problem just in Platinum, but honestly a lot of ranks where people will say, oh, this isn't working, let's go goat maybe, this map is great for goat. But most of the time, people will pick the characters for goats, but not actually play the composition properly. Sure, it might not be the most difficult composition to pull off, but even in higher ranks like Diamond, Masters, and honestly GM sometimes, people don't necessarily know how to play the compositions just to pick the characters. It's also very rare that a full team will cooperate to pick exactly the correct characters. So rather than focusing on set compositions, just take a look at specific characters on enemy teams that are annoying. Sometimes switching your Zarya and Zarya Ryan comp to a Winston in Plat can be fine if you have a Widowmaker on the enemy team that's really messing you up. Those sort of things shouldn't be really shied away from, especially as in most ranks, people don't really play the game optimally necessarily. Next up is trying to fully manage your team and maybe even micromanage people in a way, just focusing on others before yourself generally. Many people that use comms a lot in Platinum especially tend to fall into this category, I feel like. It can be very hard to recognize when you are talking too much yourself, and the reason as to why I know this is because I used to do this a lot. This is one of my main problems when initially learning Overwatch and especially playing solo queue, and some people got really annoyed, and I noticed it as well when I was checking back on my own footage that I was trying to give people maybe hints of what to do, or even just flat out tell people, hey, I need you to do this thing right now. And sure, sometimes a call is fine, but if you're doing it all the time, it clutters comms and is honestly just annoying. The only consistent factor in every single ranked game you play is you being there. You probably heard this type of tip a lot, but the main thing I'm trying to sort of attack here is that thing where you use comms so much that you kind of talk about what other people are doing or should be doing rather than focusing on yourself. I wanted to include this in this video because maybe some of you will recognize yourself here, and this certainly helped me improve a lot at the game when I recognized this about myself. Next up is just planning ahead a bit more than playing reactionary. This sounds very obvious when you put it like this. So let me give you a bit more of an example. To make it more personally applicable, let's talk about Ana. So let's say I want to play Ana and there's a main support slot ready. Great, I picked a character. Maybe someone then sees that an Ana has been picked, so they'll want to play Genji as a DPS to get that Nano Blade, which is obviously an incredibly powerful ultimate combo, and that's great, that's a bit of synergy. Let's say you're playing Hollywood as Ana and you're playing on defense. Setting up on the high ground in Cafe is something I usually do a lot. You can see quite a bit of your team, you have a health pack underneath. Okay, great, we got a spot to sit in. The next thing is to set up one of those kind of conditions in your head about what you should do when something happens, and this is specifically what I'm talking about for this type of tip. With Ana, for example, I'll maybe look at the other high ground, and if I see a Genji or a Hanzo or someone else that can quite easily get up there and then threaten my position, I will then have a change of plan or just something that I do to not get killed by that. As soon as you see a Hanzo or Genji here, maybe you jump down, maybe you just call it in comms and try to reposition yourself a little bit. Maybe you go straight away for the health pack because you know you're gonna get hit or dived maybe. And those small things of, okay, if the enemy team does this, I will do that, really help me a lot when playing new characters. And it's really that sort of thing that I think a lot of people know at most ranks about what they kind of should be doing, but because they don't really think about it until it's happening right in that moment, things get panicky and very frustrating very easily. This is what I mean by playing reactionary versus just planning ahead a little bit. I regularly meet players in Plat that I think are more mechanically skilled than me in a lot of ways, that are just better at a lot of different characters. But small things like these might be holding them back. Next up on the list we have hero suggestions. These type of suggestions or proposals can often come off as demands in ranked. The default attitude to people asking for hero switches can just be pretty negative. Everyone's been in those games where someone throws out a suggestion like, hey, can we have a Mercy? Or can someone pick Reinhardt? Those type of things. It's not uncommon that people just go, oh, why don't you just pick that character then? So again, to go to a more personal example, so if I'm on Ana, I would like to have maybe a Winston because I think it's good in a particular map. I would then pick Ana and say something like, hey, it would be great if we had a Winston that I could heal as Ana on this map. There's a little bit more of a meaning behind it. Obviously people like getting heals too, but it means that even someone that might be a bit reluctant to pick Winston because they've just had a game where they've jumped in and just died because their team haven't followed them, that can be the difference between them picking that character or not. Now whether or not that pick would work out, I obviously can't tell you, but it's one of those things that I've noticed get a lot more consistency in my games. Rather than just me saying, hey, we need a Reinhardt here, I would say, oh, if we get a Reinhardt here, I can have like a secondary boost target if the Genji dies, and then also be able to heal them. Same thing when I played Reinhardt back in the day, I used to say, hey, if we can get a Sari here, I can stay alive more and you can get some charge. I feel like those are the suggestions that bring more consistency into your games and really help with just having a better time, honestly, and less frustrating time. Last on the list, I have something real cheesy or corny or whatever, and it's about actively recognizing your mistakes and just complimenting teammates if they do something good. This honestly helps so much, and I know it's a little bit sort of, yeah, just smile, positive vibes. We'll get through this game, guys, no worries. It's not really some PMA, try to stay positive all the time type of tip. It's more that if you, for example, get ahead of a mistake that you made and apologize for it, people are a lot less likely to bring that up, which just contributes to tilting the team even more. On the flip side of that, if someone feels like they're doing a lot and you're maybe noticing that a particular player in your team are doing very well, then letting them know that you're noticing that can be the difference between having that frustrating moment for that player where they go, oh man, I'm doing so much, my team isn't helping me out, or I'm trying so hard but nobody's helping. If you just acknowledge that with a short comment, it can also just make your game so much more consistent. Sounds like a weird kind of mumbo jumbo tip, but honestly it's just so true. Right, that's everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I tried to make this video into more things that apply specifically to the way Overwatch is now and the way that Overwatch is after people have played it for like 3 years and some people maybe are even burnt out. If you want more specific hero tips, then search the channel for those heroes, as we have guides with almost all top players around the world with these characters. It's kind of pointless for me to be here telling you to take the high ground more as soldier and things like that. But I hope these helped, or maybe at least that they'll help you out in the near future. Alright, that's everything. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.